guys, it's Pam. Today I'm going to show you the process that I used for this picture. It won't be the exact same, but I'm going to try to do it as close as possible. And I will post the links below for all of the images that I collage. I'll show you a few that I plan on using. This is the old ledger sheet, and possibly some of these old ads. I'm not sure yet what I'll use, but I'll put all the links below to where I got any of these collage bits. I really like the old creamy antiqued look and the background that it gives. But anywho, I will get started. These are some pages I already had kind of posted for, not posted, but primed and got ready for playtime. I have found that I'm beginning to like the prepped background pages to work on instead of a plain page. For a long time I would just go directly onto the page in watercolor, which is fine, but I really like these backgrounds. I'll show you one. See, this one doesn't have one, but it's okay. And this might be really, looks like a glare. Anywho, I'll do a flip when I'm finished. And I will say this is the Dilutions Journal, the 8 1/4 by 8 1/4 square, I think is the measurements on it. It's actually my favorite journal still. But I'm going to get started, and this will be a real-time video, so get ready. So I'm going to get some matte medium. The Liquitex fluid is what I've been using, and I'll put that on later. So I'm just gonna, a lot of times when I throw this glue away, when I rip some pages kind of randomly, I do think I want to use this one. I like a torn edge better than a cut edge for these images. My apologies if that's loud, and I got a fan going on in the background here. I hope it's not too noisy for you, but it gets warm in this room where I'm at. I'm going to tear this part off of this one too. And there is a really good, I mean, you can buy some of these downloads and they're really kind of inexpensive, but I'm going to share with you a site that you can go to and download all kinds of old vintage photos, ads that are copyright free. It's a New York Public Library, and you can look up their digital collections if you Google that, but I'll try to remember to leave a link for it. I forgot who shared that in a video, if it was a class I took or if it was just a YouTube video. But man, when I found that, I was like, woohoo, it was a jackpot. Because you don't have to pay for it, you just print everything out. And I'm going to have to keep reminding myself to look up to make sure this is recording, because I don't know why, but that camera decides to just cut off sometimes. It's the DSLR Canon, and I don't know why it does that, because the memory card's not full. The battery's good. And I don't know if I like this fluid medium. It seems like I'm using more of it than the gel. I think I like the gel texture a little better. Hopefully I'm not saying too much. The last video I made, when I was editing it, oh, I got huffy puffy with myself saying, oh my god, would you quit it already? Let's see, I think we'll put a little color in it. Yeah. This one was from Nik the Booksmith. She has some really cool free downloads too. I like this brown tannish color. This brush I'm using, you can use whatever cheap brush for matte mediums. because it can mess them up if you don't clean them. I should have really putting a bit much on here, but that's okay. Can you see this color, or can you see this color coming from this inkjet? I don't mind it because we cover it and grunge it up anyway. So that's what I do for the undercoat. I need to set this brush aside. I'm bad. I'll stick it in the water and then, let's see, doesn't matter. So I'm going to dry this. I will cut that part out and hopefully this glare is not, anywho. No, it's still somewhat damp, but yeah, I didn't think I added any on this page. If you're smart, you probably go ahead and glue stuff to both sides, but I didn't. Even on the last one I didn't. And that's my gesso. If you want to know what kind it is, I've got a favorites video. I'm just going to put some of this on the page and use an El Cheapo palette knife, which I think in that other page what I might have done was use my brayer. So I'm probably going to do that so it looks, kind of flattens it out a little over the page and it dries quicker. I do like the texture this gives though, but in that other one I'm trying to pull my brayer out and use it more because it does give a cool texture too. I don't know if I need that or not. That page keeps rolling up. I'm just gonna smush this. This is one thing I do a lot. I do. Just smush them together. Kind of evens it out. The amount that's on the surface of it, that is. Okay. Now the next thing I'm going to use is the Distressed Oxide, the Vintage Photo, and the Picked Raspberry. And I'll use, this is the only acrylic block that I have, but there's a side here with a grid on it. I use the smooth side. And I think I might need to get more of this. It seems to be a little drier than the others. So I do that, spray it with water. And I don't need to tag that yet. Clip it rather. I'll spritz it a little bit. And let it move. That's one thing about this paper, y'all. It will take a beating. It will take some moisture. This color kind of matches and to me flows really good with the antiqued colors of the papers that I used. I'm going to leave that alone. Sometimes I like for it to be a little more balanced, but I'm trying to get rid of that OCD issue. Oh mercy, that lighting. Let me see. Can you see that any better? I need a curtain for this window in here. It makes it hot in here too. I'm going to use this pink. I love pink and like the tans together. And just smush it. I like that orangey color that it makes. Hey, good girl. She always comes in here and licks my feet, tells me good morning. Hey, baby girl. Okay, I will dry this and be right back. You gotta love the heat tools. Speed up the process. And mine's not all the way dry. Oh well. This image will be what I'll put down next. The last one I cut around, but this one I ripped. And I just like the way it looks at the bottom right corner. So I will put that down with matte medium. And sometimes with that ink, even the pink back here, it might kind of reactivate, but like I said, it doesn't bother me any. And even that black ink from this kind of smudges, but it's all good. Y'all, I wish I could get rid of that glare. I don't know what to do about it because it's bad. Let me pause this and see if I can do something about it. There, I think I got rid of most of it. If you can only see how we rigged this stuff up, huh? You'll hear my dog outside barking. Okay. Anyway, I should have dried that a little more. Alright, I think I got most of that glare gone. Most of it. It's a pretty day. But it's okay. Got this image done. Now I'm gonna just map out a face. I'm gonna have to turn this a little bit. I do tend to. Let's see. Just draw an eyeball here. I did get a new eraser this week I'm playing with, trying to see if I like it or not. One of the things I said I liked, one of my favorites, was that, what kind of eraser is it? I don't remember if it was this one or what, but anyway, I realized I really hadn't tried many other erasers. And there could be some that's a lot better, because mine creates a whole lot of dust. It cleans it pretty good, except for on some mediums. But anywho, yeah, you can see where I jigged that paper just then, because it's not super dry. It's still a little damp. And you don't want to do that. And this usually is, now sometimes I'll start with the eyes, sometimes I'll start with the mouth, and then I'll shape the face around it. I know since I did the faces video, you kind of change and evolve, I guess. Your style kind of changes. You do things a little different as you grow and learn. I do like these pouty lips though. Let's see. Do little white sketchy bits to see if that's where I want it. I don't know if I want it that big or not. Her cheeks. She's a little lower on the page, I think, than the last one, which is okay. This is the new one I got, that mono plastic eraser by Tombow, and it erases pretty clean. Gosh, can you even see that? It seems like the lighting in here is just too bright. And I did put hair on her, didn't I? Do we want to do it the same way, or do it a little different? So I need to take that off. Kind of forgetting what I was supposed to be doing. Tell you what, let's just make hers kind of go up like that. Bubby's waking up. There. That's how I usually do it. I do a light sketch first, and you'll see this pop out a little more as I go. Goodness. Let me pause this one more time and see if I can get this lighting adjusted. There, maybe you might can see that a little better. I'm not sure. Well, you'll see it when I put the dark on here and the colors too. So I keep looking back here because I'm trying to remember what I did here. And I think I did the white last. That's the thing, y'all. Just play. And I've said before, I like to use my gesso as a primer. Not a primer, as a paint. A lot of times I'll paint with it instead of using it just as a primer. And I'm just going to use a wet brush and apply this white, this primer as her hair. And it won't be, you know, super white right at the moment, but we'll thicken it up by adding layers of it. And some of this pencil will get covered, but that's that back and forth that you go through as you create. I like that hairdo on her. So I'm going to let that dry and add another layer, and you'll see it kind of start popping out from the page. While that's mostly dry, I'm going to go in with my stump. Then I know you'll be able to see this then, because this darkens this area up quite a bit. And half faces are always easy, y'all, because you don't have to balance it out. If you ever want to do something pretty and you don't feel like going through motions of getting it all even, you can always put her on half a page. That's cheating, huh? And I always like to, not always, but a lot of times I'll just go ahead and shade in with pulling this pencil out. And a little shade right below this lid always makes that eye look completely different to me. If you just left that hard line without this shading, it just doesn't look quite as good to me. Here. There's the lips. Okay. So I think instead of messing with this white right now, I'm going to take my watercolor brush, and I do have a separate water cleaner. I have a mason jar with water for my watercolor brushes, because I don't want to put these brushes in that other water that has the acrylic and all that in it. But this is the palette that I put the Daniel Smith colors in. I'm going to take some of the yellow ochre and put it here where it's already dirty. That's sometimes not a good thing if you don't remember what you used before and you really like that color. and you try to recreate and you can't remember what's there, but it's all good. Then I'm gonna take, is that burnt umber? I know in the core it's a burnt sienna that I really like. Take a little Naples yellow. It's a little too brown. Let's see if I can paint that up a little bit. There we go. I put a little bit of, just a smidget of Quin Rose in that. I like that color together. So yep, I'm going to paint watercolors over all of this. I love watercolor, and this isn't warm enough for me. I love watercolor over I love the pooling effect you can get from it. There. I think I'm gonna have to add something a little warmer to that. Maybe that New Gamboge. Yeah, that'll warm it up a bit. Then go back in with the yellow ochre too. Yep. She needed to be a little warmer. One thing about working on this gesso is you can move the colors around and completely remove it. Now that can be a good thing or a bad thing. If you're not used to it, it can probably be frustrating because you can lift this color out super easy, and you might not always want that, but just play, don't get frustrated. And sometimes you just leave that puddle, let it dry a little bit, and then go back in. Those puddles to me are just sexy. I love them. And you don't want a harsh line, so you can just pat it. And see where I removed it? You can go back in. Now I'm going to leave that now, let this dry. And when I go back in on it again, now it's going to lift it again. But you just have to get used to how much you go in it and how much pressure to put and all that good stuff. Now, what I want to do around her hair and this flower is take some of that burnt umber. I keep wanting to say burnt sienna. That burnt umber and this Quin Rose. And this Quin Rose is close to me, their Quin Magenta is more of a Quin, I don't know, it's purpley. And I like the Quin Magenta in the core colors. This Quin Rose and their Quin Magenta to me are real similar. I love that Quin Rose. So I'm going to put some on this palette and get this well ready. And then take, I really wish I had that burnt sienna in here instead of this burnt umber. But I'm going to go for it. I'm going to go around this hair and add a lot of water on this gesso. You can add tons of water. It takes a little longer to dry, but the pooling effect that it gives to me and the drip drops. I'm going to have to tilt this book. The drip drops that it creates is what I like. This is real similar to this face, so don't, it kind of blends there for the moment, but we're going to fix that with that pink. Morning, love. Let's walk on. So, I'm going to make this a little darker up here. And then drip, so that dark kind of goes everywhere. You can't see it too good, but it's hard to, there. Now I'm going to go in with that straight Quin Magenta around the face and kind of blend it out up into that area. Sometimes I'll dip straight into the paint because then you get a really strong color. And then drip drop that. just kind of sporadically drip your brush about. Look how pretty. Y'all see how gorgeous that is? And that line right here I really like, so I'm going to try to leave it alone. No telling if I will. There. Let's see. Oh, this lighting in here, the sun's moving. There, you can see where this picture just blended into the background a little bit by taking this brown and kind of pulling it. Mercy. I need some curtains. Need some curtains in here. Bad. So I'm gonna dry this, try to block the sun again, and I will be right back. I think I solved that for a moment. We shall see. Okay, that's dry. The next thing I think we're gonna do is add a little bit of this Quinn Rose into her face, and then it'll pull everything together. And this is a number 8 black velvet brush. It is my favorite brush because it, even though it's a bigger brush, that tip on it, you can get little fine areas with it. I'm going to put a little above her eye. Now I'm going to try not to play with that too much, because it's going to lift that brown out if I do. See, I already lifted it out, but that's okay. And I always like a little around the hairline. God, it looks like a mustache to me. Does it, y'all? Just a little down here, not much. So one thing on this gesso, it's a little tricky, but I love it. Especially these effects you can get with that pulling, and it almost looks like, gives it a poured acrylic look. You know, it gives those puddles and swooshes of color together. Now her eye color, I don't know if I want to go that cobalt turquoise. I think I'm going to mix it with some Payne's gray. Yeah, that's pretty. That's a little stark, so I'm just going to lift just a little out. There, I like that. And one thing you guys didn't see when I was drying this, because there was big puddles, I would tilt my book and it gives you these nice little swirls. So tilt your book, turn it, however, make everything move. So I think I'm done with the watercolors at the moment. Now I still have some of this gesso on this page. I'm going to take a super wet brush and kind of get some more on here. See, that layers, going to make it a bit more white. And then I want to create some drips. Now if this doesn't do what I want it to do, I've got some white, some golden fluid, which I think I'll just go ahead and use it because it's easier to deal with. Easier to create some drips. And this nozzle's annoying, so I have to dip. I might need to see if I can get a different one. This is a golden high flow acrylic and titanium white. I'm going to stick this brush in here and dab it, and I'm going to try to guide, wet my brush and guide a little drip drop, kind of make it move where I want it to go. Once you have a little pathway for it to kind of go down, once you wet it, it'll, I know you won't be able to see this, but I can't. Get it to go the right way. There. Just keep adding to it if you want the line wider, because by adding water it kind of dilutes it. I almost dip into my watercolor water. And once I do that, I'll kind of just blend this about so it doesn't look like I just blobbed it right there. Then take some of that and splatter. Cool. So once this dries, let me go ahead and add some to the eyes too while I got all this out. I think I'm going to use this. And I'm going to turn my book around. Use this in the white of her eye, because it's a nice white. Make sure I don't have too much on here. And you can use your gel pen or whatever you have to kind of create this effect, but this is a, you know, sometimes those gel pens leave little pen marks. Put a little bit here for a reflection. And I always like some white in that bottom lip. There. Is that bright enough? So the next thing I'll do once this is dry, look how it's got pink in it, that's good. I like that. And I'm going to drip some more of this white. Let me put a little more on this one. Okay, keep going for that one. There. I'm going to dry this one now and come back, and the last thing I'm going to do is add some pencil and smudges, and I'll be right back. So I'm going to try this B lid for the moment and see if it's going to be dark enough for me. Do what I want it to do, and I love a bunch of squigglies for the hair. I want it to look like she's kind of got that old school, I don't know, it's not really a bun, but anywhere that it might have got smudged out too much. I think I'm going to go in a little darker here. This is a 4B. I don't know if you can even see. Let me see if I can get up and show you the pencil marks, because that yeah, I don't know if that's working. I hope this video is going to be okay, y'all. It's this glare in here is, I'm fighting with it today. There, you can see it a little bit here, but I hope this process helps you, makes it easier for you. You can see it's not hard. Just play and have fun. If you have any questions about anything, if I missed anything, let me know. And I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you for watching.